and people are still winning. So God bless all the content creators, whether I agree with you or disagree with you, left or right or center. I will stand up for you because I see what the big corporations are doing, and don't get it twisted. On that note, I'm going to talk about the first story, which is Trump derangement syndrome and what now clinical psychologists are calling Trump anxiety disorder. And we've been using this term for a year or two now. I don't know who created it, but it started getting popular, and Donald Trump himself tweeted it, I believe, last week. So now you have CNN and a lot of the mainstream media. They're now reporting on it. They're like, Trump derangement syndrome, what is that? And we're trying to figure it out. Urban Dictionary, which is just a website where people upload their own definitions, in my opinion, has the best definition, funny enough, of Trump derangement syndrome. So Urban Dictionary defines Trump derangement syndrome as a mental condition in which a person has been driven effectively insane due to their dislike of Donald Trump to the point at which they will abandon all logic and reason. Wow. Urban Dictionary, congratulations. What a good definition. So I always say, and I repeat myself when people say, Namely, why are you apologizing? Why are you doing this? I'm doing it because I love everybody. I understand people who don't like him. That's cool. I don't care if you like him. I don't care if you dislike Donald Trump. That's how I feel, because to be honest, I don't even really care about politics that much, as far as I'm not going to talk to somebody because they disagree with me. I'm going to think they're a bad person because they have a different ideology. At a certain point, everyone has their own perspective, opinions. They listen to other people. So their reality is based off of the stuff that they've intaken through their whole life. I don't hold that against them. So this is what I say all the time. I repeat myself because I'm being honest. I have a lot of friends who don't like Donald Trump, and that's fine. But there's a fine line between liking Donald Trump, there's a fine line between disliking Donald Trump, and there's a fine line between disliking Donald Trump and Trump derangement syndrome. And the difference is, I have friends who don't like Donald Trump, but they still own their brain, they still own their mind, they have critical thinking skills, and they have the ability to be like, I don't like Donald Trump, but this is right, this is wrong, and I'm not going to pretend like the opposite of what I think is true is right because I don't like Donald Trump. It's like Donald Trump eats ice cream, now you don't like ice cream anymore. Donald Trump starts a war with, oh my God, he's going to start a war with North Korea, and then he gets along with North Korea, and then you're mad that he's getting along with North Korea. That's the difference between Trump derangement syndrome and just not liking Donald Trump. And that's my biggest critique. I get a lot of heat, and people say, anomaly, blah, 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 why do you say this and that? See, my type of journalism and reporting is going to allow the mistakes, the real mistakes of Donald Trump, to be seen. But what MSNBC and CNN and all of these news sources that have Trump derangement syndrome, they're blurring the lines of reality. They're blurring the lines of gender, race, religion. It's like everything's racist, everything's sexist, everything's xenophobic when we know it's not. So what's it doing? Is it stopping racism? No, it's allowing racism to thrive. It's allowing sexism to thrive. It's allowing xenophobia to thrive. Xenophobia is on the rise, largely but in part to Trump derangement syndrome media, who have been masking and covering up problems of the last decades, so people are getting sick of it. That's why Sweden's going right-wing, Italy's going right-wing, United States went right-wing, Canada's starting to go right-wing. It's because of Trump derangement syndrome. It's because they don't have the ability to talk about what Trump's doing and what he's not doing. Be like, that's right, that's wrong, that might be a little mean, that's true. He's not saying it right, but that's what's true. So Trump derangement syndrome, just like Urban Dictionary said, it's a mental condition where you're driven insane by your dislike of Trump, your emotions. And, to be honest, now that I'm really diving deep into the media, that is what the left has used for a long time. And liberals and Democrats have used emotions, and they've used narratives that get you so emotional. When you're mad at your spouse or your lover or your friend, you're not your authentic self when you're mad. You get heated, but you say things that you don't really mean when you're emotional. When you're emotional, you're not going to be as logical. And logic is, usually where the truth lies, although emotions are important too. Let's not be real. But the media is genius at getting people in this emotional state so they're able to manipulate their feelings and thoughts and get them to do things that make absolutely no sense. I mean, look at all the marches and the protests and all these people's feelings. I get it. You feel that way. I get it. Donald Trump didn't say what I would have said, and I get why you... But that doesn't mean that you do the exact opposite of what's logical just because you're emotional. So this all goes hand in hand. But I want to talk about, it was a Daily Caller article. It's been also all over CNN, and everybody's talking about it this week. But I'm referencing a Daily Caller article where they talked to DC Counseling and Psychotherapy Center founder Elizabeth Lamott in Washington, D.C. And she said, there's actually a huge uptick of people that have, what I don't think she used the term Trump derangement syndrome, but they're coming in with the fear of the world ending. They think, is he going to blow us up? So she's seen a rise in clients because everybody's afraid of Donald Trump. And I get it. He is a little crazy. I get why you might be afraid. But let's not really look at all the sources of why people are freaking out now, too. I've never liked CNN. I'm just going to throw it out there. My roommate used to watch it years ago, and I'd come in and they'd talk about ISIS, and they talk about nuclear bombs, and they talk about how terrible the world is. This is not a new trick. This has been going on in the mainstream media, and you could go right and left. For decades, they feed off of fear. They love to make people afraid. I never liked the news since I was 5 years old, because you turn it on, it's murder, this, race, blah. It's like, it's so negative. It's so toxic to your mentality. So this is not a new thing. It's ramped up with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is not the media puppet. Usually, the president is who the media wants there. So they try to make it look like it's all rainbows and sunshine while still, pointing the blame elsewhere. Like during Obama's administration, it was all ISIS. Be afraid of ISIS. Be afraid of North Korea. Just going to be honest, that's 90% of CNN. ISIS, North Korea, ISIS, North Korea during Obama. Then Trump gets into office, pretty much virtually defeats ISIS in the Middle East, makes a peace talk with North Korea. Did they ever once say, oh my God, good job, Donald Trump, for solving the problems that we complained about for the last 9 years and scared people into psychotherapy? No, they never thanked him. They just moved on to the next scary thing. So let's be real. It's not just a Donald Trump issue. He's a little wild and wacky, but this is what the media does, and this is why I speak out so much against the media. It's not because I care that they oppose Donald Trump. I wish they would oppose Donald Trump, but I wish they would oppose Donald Trump in a way that makes sense, because they just mask everything. Oh my God, Donald Trump had 2 scoops of ice cream and threw the Japanese fish food in wrong. They do that, and they're enabling him to get away with anything, and they're also enabling people to be absolute crazy while not being able to solve any issues and blurring the lines of reality in almost every topic. So it's not like they're effective journalists doing really good anti-Trump work. It's like they're clinically deranged people that are psychotic, that are depressed, that are anxiety and fear-driven and fear-based. So it's like on a psychological and spiritual level, what the media does makes no sense to me. Even if you don't like Trump, sheesh, I watch news sources that don't like Trump, and I don't watch the mainstream media, or else I'd probably be in a loony bin, talking to a psychotherapist right now if I believed everything that they said. So it's like it's a perception thing. Two people could look at the same thing and say, oh, this is beautiful, this is horrible. So your perception, and I'm about to finish my book, it's almost done, it has nothing to do with politics. It's all about perception and mindset and like spiritual and mental control. But it's like you're in charge. If you don't take control of yourself, somebody's going to try to take control of your mind and take control of your spirit and take control of your soul. So if you're programming your mind and your spirit with a bunch of toxic negative stuff, it doesn't matter if it comes from the right wing or the left wing, it's going to put you in a state of almost psychosis. So it's like, how do you perceive the world? How are you going to solve it? It's deeper than just Trump or not Trump. It's a whole mind game that's constantly being played because there is value in taking over your mind. I'm just going to be honest. If they can control your mind, they could sell you things. They could make you buy certain things, whether it be cars or jewelry or pharmaceutical pills. If they can control your mindset, they can get you to march in the streets. So it's even more powerful than just doing something on your own. If you can control the minds of millions of people, you can literally manipulate people to buy what you want, to do what you want, and to act in a manner that you want them to act. So it's like, this is the real game going on behind all the politics here. But it's becoming such a big thing that clinical psychologists all over Washington, D.C. are speaking out against it. Another clinical psychologist named Jennifer Panning calls it Trump anxiety disorder and says the symptoms were specific to the election of Trump and the resultant unpredictable socio-political climate. And she also says she has some Trump supporters in because their family basically disowned them because, they support the president and their family doesn't like that. So you're seeing with clinical psychologists, you're seeing a huge uptick in their client base literally due to Donald Trump, the election of Donald Trump, and to be honest, most importantly, the media perception of Donald Trump. There's a bunch of ways to perceive him, and they don't do it in a healthy manner. I'm just going to be real. I don't mind if you disagree with Donald Trump. I don't mind if you don't like him. But if you're going to not like him so much that you're manifesting the end of the world, and people are really doing this. I'm not going to say I didn't like, because to be honest, I did like Barack Obama for a while. And to be honest, I like everybody. I don't hate anybody. I would like to have a sit-down conversation with Barack Obama and see what his perspective is. Rather than me say what I think he thinks, I want to hear what he thinks. You know what I'm saying? I got love for Barack Obama. Much love. But with Trump, it's like people are manifesting the end of the world because they don't like Donald Trump. You have Bill Maher on his show saying, I hope the economy tanks. And, what does that mean if the economy tanks? That would mean millions of people, might lose their job or lose their house or lose their car or lose their possessions or lose their family. This is what, a tanking economy would mean in this country. But Bill Maher is literally admitting, dude, I'd rather the economy tank. Oh, I'd rather get exploded. These are what these people are saying. So there's a fine line between disliking Donald Trump and having Trump derangement syndrome. Using logic and reason and politically disagreeing with conservative Republicans or Donald Trump businessmen, that's one thing. But to manifest the end of the world, to manifest destruction and nuclear war, and not getting along with North Korea after for years crying about, oh my God, we're going to get bombed by North Korea. Oh no, we're going to get bombed by North Korea. And then we get along with North Korea, and now you're saying, oh, Trump's getting along with dictators. Oh, that's so terrible. It's like at a certain point, it is a mental illness, because you're wishing for one thing, you get what you want, and then you wish for the other thing. That's the Trump derangement syndrome. It's like, North Korea's going to bomb us, North Korea's going to bomb us. Oh, we're getting along with North Korea? So you must be happy now a little bit, right? You could be mad about other things. No, I'm mad still because Trump did it. He's getting along with a dictator. So it's like there's no winning with Trump derangement syndrome. There's no logic. And I've seen it mentally affect millions of people to the point where it's really not funny to me anymore. I really think people do need professional help. They are seeking professional help in large quantities, and people need to really tone it down a little bit, because my belief, a lot of people misconstrue what I say. They get mad, they see a video, call me names, whatever. But I'm thinking on a mental, spiritual state of like, we control the destiny. Some things are out of our hand. I think, God and the universe and, Mother Earth is bigger than we are. So when people think they can control everything, it's like, do you think you're God? Do you think you're the universe? Do you think you're Mother Nature? Because you're not going to be able to control everything, but we do have some effect, and we can manifest the future. We can create the future. And my issue is a lot of the people that hate Donald Trump have led me to his side, because I'm seeing what he's talking about. He's talking about winning, doing things and world peace. Like, to be honest, he's really trying to do it in the Middle East. He might be mean and crazy, but he's trying to go for world peace. These other politicians were quietly starting a bunch of wars and funding a bunch of organizations that you wouldn't want your taxpayer dollars to be funded. So it's like him or these people screeching, being like, oh, blow up the world so I could be right about something, and tank the economy. It's like, and open the borders and just have no common sense and abolish law enforcement agencies. It's like, okay, I'm not a big fan of I'm not like #1 fan of law enforcement agencies. I know they're corrupt. I know there's bad police. I'm not like a super goody two shoes like, oh, the police are perfect. Just to be honest, it's not me. But do I want to live in pure anarchy? Absolutely not. If I wanted to live in anarchy, I'd go move to a third world country where, the government is super, super corrupt. You think the United States is bad? Go somewhere else. It's like, I don't want to live in pure anarchy. So it's like, you give me this option or this option. I'm steering far clear of Trump derangement syndrome, because I'm not that mentally gone where I'm like, oh, I'm going to destroy America, destroy freedom of speech, destroy the Second Amendment, destroy the Constitution, destroy law enforcement agencies, destroy world peace, start wars with Russia, start a war with North Korea, keep starting wars in the Middle East because they told me it was the good thing. It's like, I don't want that, certainly. So, that's the difference between me and Trump derangement syndrome. And I know that we can change the world for the better. We can't control everything, but if millions of people are manifesting good things and world peace and common sense and things that aren't going to tank the United States of America as well as the world, then we can get to that point. But the media has used Donald Trump as a scapegoat to shift people's mentalities to a negative, toxic mentality. And that is Trump derangement syndrome. It's not helpful. It's not woke. It's not resistance. It's not revolutionary. It's a toxic, negative mindset that any Buddhist teacher or, Christian teacher or even, good Muslim teacher or, a Taoist teacher or anybody, with a spiritual or, sensible background would look at you and be like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Nothing that you're doing is going to have any sort of positive input on the world. So it's like, we will change the world. Change yourself to change the world. And if you're manifesting all this negative stuff, and if you're hurting your mind, body, and soul to the point where you need to go seek help, and there's nothing wrong with seeking help. More people probably should, and we should have conversations and help each other. There's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of this mental illness, there's some that's not self-inflicted. Some people have it and can't help it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, a lot of people have problems. I've worked very hard and stayed very, down to earth, and life is still hard. Let's be real. I mean, life is crazy. But there's a lot of self-inflicted mental wounds and spiritual wounds and physical wounds, and there's enough real ones in the world. We don't need to be self-inflicting illness onto ourselves. And that's what I find that Trump derangement syndrome, or as they call it now clinically, Trump anxiety disorder is doing. So just to sum it up, there's nothing wrong with not liking Donald Trump. There's nothing wrong with liking Donald Trump. But there is something profoundly wrong with what the media is pushing and what social media is pushing, which is the blurring lines of reality. Everything is sexist, racist, and xenophobic, so now real sexism, racism, and xenophobia go unnoticed and virtually get away scot-free while they're promoting all the groups that they say they're stopping. Oh, these groups are on the rise, but we're going to give them nonstop media attention, and we're the only one, we're putting them on the map more than they've ever been put on the map. And oh my God, you should be so mad and hateful and ungrateful and negative and nasty and mean and rude, and then expect the world to be a better place and ignore all logic and reason for the emotional, bullet point of the day. Like, this is what you're mad at this week. This is what you're mad at this week. You didn't even know it existed 2 weeks ago, and you're not even critically thinking enough to have a full-scale approach to what it is. Because all these problems are multi-layered. It's not like, I'm a good person, you're a bad person, ha ha. Let's march in the streets. That's not how it works. It's whether it be homelessness or the border situation or poverty or war in the Middle East, it's not a clear-cut answer. It's a multi-layered issue that has multiple things that's going to take some real bright thinkers and some real low ego type people to solve. It's not going to be like, ha, I'm right, you're wrong, I'm going to smack you if you don't agree with me and steal your hat. I mean, it's getting embarrassing, and it's really, damaging the mind, body, and soul of people. So on a serious note, I'll continue to do my part to try to ease the tension of Trump derangement syndrome and what they call Trump anxiety disorder, to be honest, which is, partially, I think Trump is has to take accountability. He is the president. But I do believe, truly, at the bottom of my heart and soul, that it's a large part media and social media orchestrated. Because if we never logged into our cell phones every day, half this stuff that we screech about, we wouldn't even know. We're inviting that stuff into our reality, and we're not inviting it into our reality. And this goes for Trump supporters as well. We're not inviting it into our reality in a positive way. It's a lot of negative. It's a lot of bad vibes. It's a lot of tension. It's a lot of stress. Just thinking about it right now is releasing stress. I could feel it like a yoga teacher. It's like coming out of my body, just being real about it. But that's where we're at. So we all have to do a better job of, figuring out these media traps. And let's be real. Twitter, Facebook, Google, all these social media companies, as well as the television media, they're not really doing a lot to help us or to boost people like me. They're doing everything to cover people like me up and silence me and take my money and give it to the people that are mentally and toxically, if toxically is even a word, destroying people from the inside out. So it's like this message, will never be aired on TV. It's not drama and gossip enough. They're like TMZ now. You turn on the news and it's like you might as well watch TMZ. It's the same thing. It's like, ooh, this happened. But, that's where we're at. So God bless everybody. Stay strong mentally, physically if you can, emotionally, and, try to steer clear of bad vibes and bad mental mindsets. No matter if you're on the left or the right, we have to, protect ourselves and control our mindset, or someone will try to manipulate that for their financial and political gain.